Being a bad guy is great. Cool hideout, fancy hoverboards.
And no one can tell me to wear a shirt. Oh no! It's the mega famous Battletoads, including Zitz, the leader, Pimple, the strong one, and Rash, the sunglasses one.
Hey, how's everyone doing today? This is Old Papa G. This will be my first review on my YouTube channel. I also stream on Twitch, and I hope you guys enjoy my first video. My username is ol_Papa G. So this is Battletoads. It was just released on the Xbox One and Xbox Game Pass for the computer. It's a classic beat 'em up style game. The last Battletoads that was released was on the Super Nintendo 26 years ago, and I almost feel like it should have stayed that way for the most part. Overall, the combat system is pretty fun. There's 3 characters that you could use and also tag into. The first character is the one on the top left, Rash. He's essentially a glass cannon. He hits really hard, he's really quick, but he also essentially dies in one combo or 2 hits depending. Every boss fight, it's 2 hits and he'll die. Then the next one is Pimple. He's essentially the Donkey Kong version of this game. He's the biggest and the slowest, but he hits the hardest and he has the most health. And lastly is Zitz, who in my opinion is really fun to play with out of everybody. He's actually who I'm using in this boss fight right here. He's the second fastest to Rash, and I actually think he hits just as hard as Rash. I almost feel like he's just a well-rounded, better version of Rash. His combos are also the longest, so I feel like you're also getting in the most damage, where Pimple does hit the hardest per hit overall, but his combos are only 3-4 hits, where Zit's combos will be 5-10 hits if you really get someone going. The combo meter goes off. Most of this game isn't actually a beat 'em up. I would say half the game is mini-series, like this one right here. This is one of the best parts of the game. You're essentially on a raceway, and each different terrain or surface that you're riding on, you have to hold the correct button in order to stay on the surface. So the red was a carpet, the yellow right there is sponge material, and obviously the blue is ice, and each button corresponds to the platform. If you're not hitting that right button, you're actually going to fall off and die. Some of the boss fights in this game are pretty fun. This one right here is like a Geometry Wars style game, Ikaruga, if you played those games. Those style games are actually pretty fun. I felt like if this segment of the game wasn't in it, I would have gave this game an even worse score than I gave it. But this series of the game is really fun. The problem is, right after you finish this series, you go into a ship failure, I guess you could call it, where you're trying to repair the ship, and it's all these like mini sequence games that it feels like it came from Atari or some really old school style console, which I absolutely hated, and I almost stopped playing. That's how annoying it was. But the pros definitely didn't outweigh the cons overall of this game. I thought that the beat 'em up wasn't as good as the miniseries that they put in, like this or the one before this one I was riding. The game also switches from a beat 'em up style to a 2D platforming game, which you'll see right after this boss fight. It really feels like a knockoff of Donkey Kong Country. You'll see it right here. He has the roll, and you could roll into enemies, and it gives you a speed boost as you're jumping. This part also felt like it was better than the actual beat 'em up style game. This right here is the final boss fight of the game. He was actually pretty difficult. There was 3 different difficulties that you could put onto this game. The first one was Tadpole, then medium difficulty was Toad, which is what I played on, and then the last one, I forgot what it was called, but it's essentially hard mode, and I'm really glad I picked medium, because to begin with, everything was pretty much 2-hit kill, so I'm glad that I chose what I chose. So to end it off, here's my verdict. I give it a 6.5. Honestly, I could have gave it a little lower, but I gave it this score because of the ship series. The pros: there's good combat. It's a fun beat 'em up. It had the good arcade style missions, and it was pretty fun 2D platformer, even though it was a knockoff of Donkey Kong. Like I said earlier, the cons is the annoying ship repair series. I didn't put any videos of it in this because you would just see the image of me getting really annoyed and aggravated, and I didn't feel like putting it in this video. horrible cutscenes, and it's really short game. It's only about 4 hours. So I hope you guys enjoyed my first video. If you liked it, obviously click like, hit subscribe, and you'll be getting more content from me for all different types of gaming reviews. So thanks for tuning in.